I haven't cold called in about 2 days because it's the weekend, but I'm going to start again tomorrow. So today I've mainly been focused on the actual service delivery for this hardware store, and it's going okay, a bit better than I expected actually, because um, WordPress actually has a lot of the things kind of available for it, so you can just get a plugin and then plug it in. But that doesn't really disqualify the value that I am providing in this job, because I do have to like run around the place like getting all these different services to work, and in a way I think it's probably as difficult as actually being a programmer, because if you're a programmer then all you have to do is use the techniques you already know and then put it into this system and you're okay with it, whereas I have to like go around looking for all these complex API integrations and ways to display a product in a certain way so that it doesn't look like it's overflooding the screen or anything. Despite my quick and restless seeming demeanor, I'm actually not mad or anything. I'm actually okay with it because it's going okay. Like, and I am being influenced by my circumstances here. Like, if something doesn't go well, then it bothers me because I'm supposed to be competent and I'm supposed to figure this out. And if I'm not figuring something out, then it's bad. Of course, after a certain point, you have to just take a step back and see, okay, you've kind of done everything you can. You can't really do any more, but it's still just kind of a thing of where how much you enjoy the activity and how much you like, pretty much every beneficial factor from it comes from your own competency about it. So if you're good at something, you're going to actually appreciate doing it more. That's how I felt yesterday on the job. I was waitering again, you may have noticed, and the first day went pretty well actually. It was just very smooth waiting, and there weren't too many people there. We got finished pretty quickly. We started half an hour late, finished half an hour early. It was all good in that. Then the second day there was a good few more people. It was a lot more demanding, a lot more time consuming, a lot more preparation involved, a lot more speed required, a lot less breaks, a lot less forgiveness really, and it was pretty stressful. Like, I was running around the place and I wasn't taking orders, thankfully. I was set on wines again, which is great, because it's what I'm good at. And I was just going around the place, and like, I'd probably get someone to ask me for something, and then while I'm on my way back someone else asked me for something as well, and then I remember that, and then I have to remember the first person who asked me something. It's just a lot on the mind and you really have to keep that in. You can't let yourself lose too much concentration. And I myself actually got told to hurry up a few times. I've got to. So yeah, just had to pause for a couple of seconds there because there's people obviously coming up the stairs and I don't want them to hear me. So yeah, it went pretty well. I'm really not looking forward to cold calling again tomorrow. I just like, I do it anyway, but I just really resent the activity. I'm sure that's how it's supposed to be. Like, the more agony you put yourself through, the better a result it's going to eventually yield, and that's just what I'm hoping for. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too bad though. Thing is, usually when I give myself a tiny bit of a rest, like, I'm not comfortable now. I won't say I'm comfortable, and I wasn't comfortable yesterday because I just spent a week cold calling, but I'm not in like torturous fiery agony at the moment. And I feel like when you give yourself a bit of a rest, like, you're not in constant, like, you're not being pushed to your pain tolerance limits the whole time. It's like working out a muscle, you have to give the muscle rest because rest is part of the workout, and these weekends are part of growing pain tolerance because you need to let it rest as well. And then that's when, like, it's after the resting period that it comes back stronger, and then you don't suffer as more the next week, and then you don't suffer as more again the next. That's really what I'm hoping for. I just hope it's not as energy draining on Tuesday or Wednesday, because it's usually the first day I feel okay actually. I feel completely fine with doing it for one day, but then getting up again the next day and doing it again, and then doing it again the third day, and then again the fourth day, again the fifth day, it is very, very demanding. Getting up again, doing it every day. It's similar to how I felt in the Leaving Cert. I could get up at 5 for one day, probably even 1 week, but then doing it again week after week after week, every single night you'd just be woken up by this alarm. You'd be in some pleasant dream and then you'd be woken up. Life would not be worth living for those first few moments after getting up. Life would not be worth living, and I don't want anyone to ever experience that. And I think it's my particular circumstances that have contributed to me experiencing it in that manner, and in that instance then I don't think most other people are going to experience it in that way. But I've kind of went off track. I've kind of applied to my own personal circumstances, but the point still holds. Like in school, getting up early to study, nobody does that, but when you do it, you have to do it again day after day after day. Your pain tolerance has to get so high that you just kind of get sick of resisting it. It's not like you feel any better, but your body just gives up. It's like you run like 30 miles and then your the pain receptors in your body just kind of fall out, and then you just keep doing it until your legs are literally broken. It's kind of like that. Don't actually do that, by the way. Another thing, and I might make a video on this by itself, but I'll give you the rundown now. I think the pain is the accelerator of personal development, because first of all we have the actual position you are at. So you're at the position, let's say you are quite fit, you're going to the gym, and let's say we have a six-pack, you're at quite a decent position, and let's say you're at a lower position, but then you're improving at a steady pace. That means you have speed at the steady pace you improve at, and you can improve at this for a long period of time, and then after a long period of time you get up to a high level. So having speed alone relies on time, but it's still pretty good, and you're still going to get pretty far if you rely on time. Now here's where things get even more interesting, because what do you call the speed of speed? Like the speed of a speed's increase. Let's say you're in a car and you're going at 20 kilometers per hour. Let's say you go up to 30 kilometers per hour in a period of 1 minute. So you sped up from 20 to 30 in 1 minute. At the start of the minute you were at 20, into the minute you were at 30. You accelerated 10 kilometers per hour within 1 minute. That's what acceleration is. It's like it is to speed as what speed is to distance. So it's the speed of your speed, and in my opinion, just doing your constant work every single day is the speed of your development. But do you know what the accelerator of your development is? The speed of your development. It's the amount of pain you're willing to go through to increase that speed. So if you're, let's say you're incrementing your work, the amount of time you work now. I know it's not a wise idea to go just by time, but let's just keep this here just for reference. Let's say you increase your work by about 15 minutes every single 10-day period. So that's kind of your speed, because you're developing from, let's say, 30 minutes to 45 minutes within 10 days, and then within 20 days it'll be to 60 minutes, and then 25 within 30 it'll be to 1 hour and 15 minutes, I think. Yeah, I'm losing focus here. But anyway, that's your speed. But then what about your acceleration? Well, your acceleration is when you would increase that. So let's say you're at 4 hours, you're a bit in the future now, you're at 4 hours a day of work, and by the way, I'd say you need to work way more than that, but you're at 4 hours. You still increase by about 15 minutes every 10 days. Now how about every 30 minutes every 10 days? How about you improve that far, that high, that much? So then you go like 4 hours a day, 4.5 hours a day, 10 days after that, then 5 hours a day again, 10 days after that again. And that's where you're just accelerating. And if you want to accelerate again, let's say 30 minutes every 5 days. So you're doing 5 hours a day. 5 days later, you're doing 5 hours, 30 minutes a day. 5 days later again, you're doing 6 hours a day. That is more acceleration. And that is the speed of your development. And that is where you're going through pain to improve the speed at which you are increasing. So when you're going through pain, that's going to make you grow faster. And if you feel a bit stunted in your progress, you feel like you're kind of plateauing, you're just doing the same basic predictable routine every day, increase that routine and increase the speed at which you increase that routine. That's what I mean by that. Increase your increasing. That is acceleration. And I'm not going to go any further than that. But just know that in order to just achieve growth as quickly as possible, if you want to just really improve your improvement, improve the improvement of your improvement, you need to go through pain. And that's what I've been doing. So I do like an extra 30 minutes every 5 days. I haven't even done 9 hours and 30 minutes today, like not a full day of that for the last few, like ever, because these last few days I was supposed to increment to 9 hours 30 minutes, but then I've had stuff in the way. I've had work for the last 2 days. Before that I had somewhere to go, and today I also had somewhere to go, pretty important appointments. But tomorrow I have 10 hours. So that's just going to bring me straight back into the fray, and it's going to wake me up to reality, and it's not going to be fun whatsoever, but that's what I have to do. And another thing I'm doing to increase my pain is just cold calling a load of businesses every day. And I spoke about this earlier in the video, but it's absolute heinous. You've already gotten the rundown of it. Just know that it's unpleasant. That is more pain. That is accelerating my growth. And that's the only way I can conceivably imagine that I get to be a millionaire before I'm 30. I want to be a millionaire way before that, though, to be honest, way before. So yeah.